Across this nation every day, family and domestic violence harms Australian women and children. Many of these incidents go unreported. And unfortunately, although we are in 2023, we are not seeing an improvement in the reduction of reported incidents or deaths from this violence. It is simply not good enough, and we must do better.
And I call the member for Hughes.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. I rise to speak on the motion brought by the member for Newcastle. Today, like many others in this place and in the other, I'm wearing orange in support of the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. The Coalition, and as a part of that coalition, I welcome the member for Newcastle's motion to mark International Day for the Elimination of Violence against Women. Deputy Speaker, in my home city of Sydney, in New South Wales, only a couple of weeks ago, a young woman aged only 21, Lilie James, was violently murdered, allegedly at the hands of a former male partner. This murder, committed at a school, shocked Sydney, shocked Australia. However, Deputy Speaker, Lilie was one of 55 women this year who have been murdered at the hands, allegedly in Lilie's case, of a male partner. Improving the safety of women and children must be above politics, and we, on our side, will continue to work with the government towards the elimination of violence against women. Deputy Speaker, across this nation every day, family and domestic violence harms Australian women and children. Many of these incidents go unreported. And unfortunately, although we are in 2023, we are not seeing an improvement in the reduction of reported incidents or deaths from this violence. It is simply not good enough, and we must do better. And in fact, some of the statistics are showing that the number of domestic homicides is in fact getting worse. It is a national crisis, a national disgrace. And Deputy Speaker, I do applaud the Albanese Labor government that pledged over a year ago to end gender-based violence in a generation. This is laudable. It is a worthy commitment. The National Plan to End Violence Against Women and Children and the recently released First Action Plan must translate the words and the allocated funding into tangible and effective action that saves lives. Part of these actions must focus on improving community education around this scourge. It needs to dismantle the common view that family violence only occurs with aggressive behaviours, that family violence only occurs in certain demographics. This is not the case. In reality, family violence presents in many forms, including emotional, financial, spiritual, cultural and coercive control. Coercive control, Deputy Speaker, takes the form of threats, intimidation, humiliation and other abuse that erodes a person's autonomy and ability to flourish. And in that regard, I particularly acknowledge the work of the former New South Wales Coalition Government, led by the Honourable Mark Speakman and the Honourable Natalie Ward. 12 months ago, the New South Wales Government passed legislation making coercive control a standalone criminal offence in New South Wales. This was the first law of its kind in Australia, if not within the world. Coercive control is a form of domestic abuse that involves patterns of behaviour that have the cumulative effect of denying victim survivors their autonomy and their independence. And Deputy Speaker, we need the whole community to understand the forms that this violence can take and to be alert to its indicators. Also, we must have a more pointed commitment to early intervention programs and prevention strategies. These strategies particularly must include a focus on education and support programs for Australian boys and men. Deputy Speaker, as the mother of boys, I feel particularly that this education must begin at its earliest, in preschool years, in those formative years, so that boys understand respect for women, that violence against women is never, ever acceptable. Another area that could be improved is the rehabilitation of family violence offenders before their release from custody. This again, Deputy Speaker, is something that must be addressed while we are in this place. Deputy Speaker, to conclude, the tackling of family violence must be above politics. In this place, on our side, it is above politics. I have been so heartened to have seen the number of us today that are wearing orange in support of this important day, and to hear all the speeches from across the floor in support of the elimination of violence against women. Thank you, Deputy Speaker.
I thank the member for Hughes. There being no